love this place!
Well, you may have heard, hard asses are back in style. The days of silly festivals, night markets, and kimchi tacos are at an end. Now it's booze, brats, and broads. We're entering the golden age of the Chad in fantasy RPGs. And your game deserves better NPCs than this. I'm here to help. I'm going to give you a few NPCs that can interject some much-needed testosterone and sizzle in your game. Whether that game is Dragon Slayer, Castles and Crusades, and yes, even D&D. Now our featured NPC is a man who rises above the noodle-armed geeks in your campaign's capital city. He's an icon around town. The guys, they want to be him. The girl bosses, they melt just like butter when they take one look at him. Coming in at 6'5", 285 pounds, 1800 strength, 18 charisma, 8 wisdom. Hailing from wherever the hell he wants to. It's Drake, the Rake. Now, where can you find this guy? Well, he's sort of everywhere and nowhere, depending on his legendary binges. One day he may wake up in the city fountain in front of hundreds of people after a night of jaw-dropping and jaw-breaking debauchery. He has a heart of gold, but catch him in the wrong mood at the wrong time, and you best get out of his way. He's been banned from 16 different inns in the capital, most notoriously the Mermaid Tavern. There he caused 3,000 gold crowns of damage after a welching little drunk named Cully refused to pay up his dicing debt. The brawl to end it all, as it's now known, spilled out onto Bywater Road and ended up with 3 men dead by sword, 1 man drowning in 6 inches of ale, 23 sent to the city jail, a severed hand, a maimed foot, and someone's eyeball getting plucked out and stuck on the trident of the tavern's mascot. But our hero, he talked his way out of it, like he always seems to. He's got that 18 charisma, remember? Now, as you can imagine, a guy like Drake has no problem attracting top-tier ladies around town. Listing them all, well, that would be impossible. Suffice to say that Drake plays the top end of the crazy hot axis like a virtuoso. The most serious wound he ever received didn't come from the axe of the mighty Orog chieftain Matach, but instead from a kitchen knife in the hands of a scorned harlot named Jilliana over at the velvet bed and table. Lately, Drake's been seen in the company of a fiery redhead named, not surprisingly, Tiffany, and also a mysterious woman named Shalara, who seems to be of elvish blood. Tiffany, she's like oil for Drake's fire. She brings out his wildest behavior, and often acts just as scandalously as he does. Tiffany purposely causes trouble by flirting with the occasional unfortunate adventurer who doesn't know she's Drake's squeeze. She then laughs maniacally when Drake charges at the poor dope in a jealous rage. In a few hours, after countless ales, he forgets all about the trouble that she caused because, well, in the end, let's just say it's worth it. Shalara? Now she's a bit of a mystery. Some say she's an elvish princess in exile. But no elf princess I know would be seen with the likes of Drake and Tiffany doing the things that they do. Unlike Tiffany, whose jealousy burns red hot, Shalara has a little bit more self-control. She plays it cool, you see. Maybe she's in it for the long game. But why Drake? What does she know about him that others don't? Is she really an elf princess? Or is she just another in a long line of women who've got an angle, biding her time and waiting to strike and bag the most eligible bachelor in town? I mentioned earlier about Drake's binges. During those, he can be found touring as many taverns and inns as he can, from sundown to sunup, repeating the festivities for weeks on end. But then he tires of the wine, the women, the laughing and the brawling, and he just disappears into one of the 3 safe houses he bought in the city from the treasure he won after he raided the tomb of Sabinet. It's usually then that he realizes he spent every last copper piece he has and needs to fill his pockets again. And that might be when your players come in. Sure, Drake will settle for some light caravan duty if he has to, The good news is that for as unpredictable as he is during his binges in the capital city, Drake is a pro when he's on the clock. He honors every agreement struck with his business partners, and when things get grim in those dark and terrible treasure-filled tombs, he can be depended on to do his part. He's not going to be solving any puzzles or sneaking past any traps, but he'll keep the party entertained on the way there, and he'll certainly dispatch any foes found there with ruthless aggression. If you do a job with Drake and survive, you've probably just made a friend for life. He can't be depended on at all times, but when he locks it in, he's a powerful ally. Afterward, he may stop by the city of Lofton and drop off some of his riches at a nice cottage on the outskirts of town. You see, there you'll find a beauty who is with child. Drake is a man being pulled in many different directions. He's not a role model, but in the end, he wants to do right. Are her and that child the thing that might finally make this force of nature settle down? Will he stop running? And what exactly is he running from? What demons did he see, figuratively and perhaps literally, that set him on this path? For now, it seems, there's always one more binge, one more fling, and one more job in his future. Let me know if your players meet up with Drake, won't you? Crud Forge makes two great games that aren't afraid to poke a little fun at the people who, quite frankly, need a little fun poked at them. First is the quick and hilarious Virtue Signal, the game where you play a social justice warrior trying to attract followers to your cause before the other players can tear you down. Then there's the mammoth Portland Occupied Zone, or POZ. In this strategy game, you play as a complete disaster of a human being, trying to reshape Portland into a slacker Marxist utopia. Bring a few friends and warm up that throwing arm for some Molotov cocktails.